Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Some of you might notice my video is a bit different here. I'm experimenting streaming with my external Sony camera. I think it does throw the audio a bit out of sync, but I guess I'll check on the replay just how bad that is. Guys, huge news. The Scientology agent, a guy that I believe is a Scientology agent. It's never been able to be definitively proven. A guy by the name of Patrick Perry that Scientology was using to harass and intimidate and actually assault the protesters outside of the Hollywood Test Center. This is the same guy who assaulted me on January 19th of this year, resulting in both of us getting arrested, him being charged, me being released, and then the LAPD saying they never actually arrested me. They just detained me for questioning while handcuffing me behind my back to a bench for 4 hours, while never actually asking me any questions. For some reason, Patrick Perry was never actually charged for the assault against me in LA on January 19th. I've never been able to find out why. And it was, in fact, it was a response. It was in response to a video I did about this several days ago, talking about this, and that I was never able to find out what actually happened with Patrick Perry. It was in response to that video that Lori Plays, who almost all of my viewers will know, and is actually retired from the sheriff's office herself. Lori, in the process of trying to find out what happened with Patrick Perry, was looking up some info on him and found out, let me just read what Lori actually wrote me. She goes, I've been searching for records on Patrick Perry for the last hour or so. I have his booking info from his arrest for the battery on you, but there's no court filings from that. He would have had an arraignment 1 month after the arrest, but the court is showing no records. I assume they null prost that case. Now, I had to look up what null prost meant, and it's like nolle prosequi, which means they don't prosecute the guy. Okay. She says, you might enjoy learning, though, that he was arrested on the 15th of October on felony firearm charges. LAPD Hollywood Division. Wonder if William Good, a.k.a. Streets LA, might be able to get you some details on that. So I sent that information to William. William checked it up on one of the websites where you check up these kinds of things. And William said, holy shit. Felon in possession of a firearm. Patrick Perry is being charged with second-degree robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, felon in possession of a firearm, and felon in possession of ammunition. He bonded out the next day for what looks like $30,000. And his arrest happened in the 77th Division in South Central. This is just crazy to me. Now, we've had a lot of new subscribers since January. It's been, what is it, 10 months, December, January, yeah, about 10 months ago, 9.5 months ago. I want to remind everybody, not only what went down on January 19th in broad daylight on Hollywood Boulevard that led to both of us getting arrested, but what actually had happened prior to that with Patrick Perry and the protesters on several different occasions. Okay, so I've been trying to think about chronologically what is the best way to share this with you, and I think I got it figured out. So we're going to do this. The clip that I'm about to show you is I was with a bunch of other people protesting outside the Scientology Hollywood Test Center. I had walked. There was an event going on that day, like someone was getting their star on the Walk of Fame. And there was some street closures. There was a lot of people all around. So I was walking up and down the street. So I had walked about as far away from the test center as I wanted to walk. And I had just turned around and was walking back towards the test center when all of a sudden I see the dude walking towards me who I had already seen on video assaulting protesters multiple times. Let's see how this played out. Let's do it this way.
Dude.
All right, man.
That's the guy who used his dog as a weapon against the Squirrel Squad. Are you the guy who used your dog as a weapon against the Squirrel Squad? Huh?
Don't point that at me, number one. I don't know you. I don't give a fuck about your agenda. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm a private citizen. Leave me the fuck alone for your own safety.
Well, I'm on a public sidewalk right here.
I'm not for you to be fucking harassing, asshole. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm a combat veteran, PTSD fucker. Leave me the fuck alone. Come. I will fucking kill you. Guys.
Okay, now he actually said right there, I will effing kill you, having already physically assaulted me and sicked his dog on me. And the LA city attorney did not prosecute this guy. It does make one wonder, what in the hell is going on over there that something like this caught on multiple live streams with tons of witnesses doesn't get prosecuted? Okay, there's an even better angle of this that was taken by Liz Gale, who was there at the time. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, guys.
I think you guys will see I am a very safe and respectable distance from him, nor am I approaching him.
I'm not for you to be fucking harassing, asshole. Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh, boy.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Now, I thought it was noteworthy there that when he realized that my cell phone was under his feet, instead of kicking the phone towards me, he kicked the phone away from me, which is actually why it looks like I approach him, but really I'm approaching my phone, and then he hits me in the head. Let's take a look at that again. And also you'll notice that when he starts walking away from me, I do not step towards him. I step laterally to the middle of the sidewalk. Not that this is relevant to whether it's assault or not, but you'll see. No, because actually the LAPD did threaten to and did attempt to charge me with felony stalking for having pursued him on the sidewalk. Now, of course, they never actually charged me with that. They just threatened to charge me with that and then arrested me for it and then let me go, 4 hours later. Okay, but let's take a look at that again. I want you to see him noticing my phone and actually kicking it away from me. Now, for me, that was sort of a deal breaker. That was like, no, nothing is going to come between me and my phone. That phone is, if Scientology or the LAPD gets its hands on my phone, that's like their dream. So I was like, that's not going to happen. All right, let's watch this again.
Asshole, I'm a private citizen. Leave me the fuck alone for your own safety. I'm not for you to be fucking harassing, asshole. Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh, boy.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh, guys.
Okay. And there we go. Now, I'm going to show you the previous incidents with protesters because there's a great little video compilation that was done here. But before I segue to the earlier incidents, I'm now going to show you when corrupt LAPD officer Timmy Tallman and Scientology agent LAPD officer Timmy Tallman then threatens me and says, hey, look, if you insist on us arresting this guy, we're going to have to arrest you for felony stalking. Let's take a look at that.
Peaceful resolution of this situation is that we're going to try to facilitate a peaceful resolution of this situation.
What does that mean?
If that's possible.
No, I want him arrested.
All right. So then, just so you know, more than likely you're going to be arrested for the felony stalking. Felony stalking. All right.
Felony stalking? Yeah. You want to arrest me for felony stalking on a live stream? That's okay with me. Yeah. That's okay. There's 10,000 people watching, and they saw. He said that if I ask for him to be arrested, they're going to arrest me for felony stalking. So go ahead, officer, do your job.
Isn't it interesting that he denies having just said that, even though he clearly said it, and then they do it?
You want to throw me in cuffs tonight? We can do it. He said that if I proceed with an arrest on this guy, they are likely going to have to arrest me for felony stalking.
Are you serious?
And I said, do it. I said, do it.
No way.
Yeah. I said, do it.
No, we're ready.
Do it.
The cow will bail you out.
Do it. Do it, Timmy. Do it, Timmy. Make my day. When I said that, I did not think they were going to do it. Okay. Now I'm going to jump forward. And honestly, it took 2 hours. It took over 2 hours from the point of the assault to the point of the officers arresting Patrick Perry. They basically spent the next 2 hours babysitting him and his dog for some reason. None of it made any sense. In retrospect, it made sense. They were waiting for Timmy Tallman to show up because Timmy is Scientology's agent. I've already done videos about that. I won't try to rehash all of that right here. So let's go to 3 minutes. Yep. Let's watch this right here.
Threatening to arrest me for felony stalking because I want this guy arrested for assault. Absolutely insane.
He assaulted you, plain and simple. Why are they taking so long?
Okay, now we're going to jump forward to the part where I start to realize, I feel the energy in the air. I start to realize this is about to go down. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, where's Serge? Where's Serge? Serge, get a little closer to me, Serge. I'm, because I'm going to hand him off my phone. I can't let the LAPD get my phone. And let's go to 30325. Let's check this out.
This gentleman got assaulted by that bicycle.
They're coming to get me. Serge, they're coming to get me. I can tell. I'm looking at their eyes. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. Look, they're eyeballing me right there. He's coming to arrest me.
Are you certain of that?
Well, we'll be certain in a moment. Here we go. You ready? That's why they closed it down. You ready? You ready?
I'll hold that one.
Here, take this.
I got it.
Guys say arresting Aaron. They're arresting Aaron.
And I'll turn the volume down on this because the language starts to get super, super spicy. They arrested me before they arrested Patrick Perry, you guys. It was absolutely unbelievable. I just couldn't even believe what was happening as it was happening. I've never been arrested before. I'd never been in a police car before, much less with fucking 2 helicopters and at least 10 cars. I mean, there was over 20 cops there. They had Hollywood and Highland completely shut down at one point. And, to the point where they were expecting a riot, mostly because there were so many supporters out there with all of us protesters that, they actually expected a riot. Now, actually, what you can't hear, obviously, is the police officer directly to my right holding my arm. He's actually trying to read me my rights, or he's about to read me my rights. The police officer in the front here next to Timmy Tallman, the short Latino looking guy, he's about to go back there and be like, dude, what the hell is taking you so long? And the guy's like, I'm reading him his rights. And he's like, no. Just get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Because they were honestly worried right there. He's like, get him out of here. Stop it. Get him out of here. Even the other cop is like, easy. And they never did read me my rights, but that's okay because they never interrogated me either. And that's this is me realizing that one pair of handcuffs is putting me in an unbelievable amount of pain as I tried to sit back in that seat. Those seats have like little carve outs that are supposed to be enough room for your wrists and the handcuffs. They have little carve outs in the back, in the lower back area. But that was an unbelievable amount of pain. And I'm like, oh my God, you cannot transport me like this. And they're basically taking off the 1 pair of cuffs so they can put on 2 pairs of cuffs to kind of like just to extend them. And then we get out of there. What was interesting is that we actually did not go right to the police station. We actually pulled over on a side street about a couple miles away from Hollywood and Highland. And I thought for sure they were just going to apologize and let me go. I don't actually know what we pulled over for, but we actually pulled over and stopped. The whole caravan stopped. Okay. So, I'm going to, I saw a question here. Whatever happened to the charges against Patrick? So realize that when someone's facing criminal charges, it's not me or the victim who's pressing charges. Like, I am the one who said, I want him arrested. That's essentially me pressing charges. That's me saying, I want to file a PPA, I think, which is a private person's arrest, I think. That is me saying, I do want you to move forward with arresting this guy. It's not up to me whether he gets charged. That's a city attorney. What is it? A city attorney? And district attorney? I don't know the difference, you guys. And I was never given a case number for Patrick Perry. I also didn't think I would have to ask for one, because what you didn't really see on the clip that I showed you, when Timmy Tallman came over and threatened to arrest me, that was one of a few short conversations that me and Timmy had. In the earlier conversation, he was just trying to make sure I understood what moving forward with the PPA would entail. He knew I was from out of town. He was basically trying to dissuade me from filing a PPA by letting me know I would need to come back and testify. I was like, yeah, no problem. So I just thought I didn't need to follow up on this, because they were going to follow up with me by asking me to come out and testify. So I didn't have a case number or anything. And I never followed up. And that's what I mentioned about a week ago. And that's what caused Lori to go dig into this. I feel like I lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah. And then there had been a question about, well, what about suing the LAPD for false arrest? And I did move forward with that option and was speaking to a couple very high-powered law firms with a history of going after the LAPD. And these law firms work on contingency, which means you're not paying them anything. They work for free. They take a portion of the money when they win. So in other words, it's up to them whether to move forward with the lawsuit. It's not up to me. I wanted to move forward with a lawsuit, but it's the decision is in the hands of the attorneys who are working for you for no upfront money. It was the attorneys who, first of all, they did not think this was going to be like something interesting. And then they saw the videos and they were like, oh, this is very interesting. And I was getting all excited. And then they're like, okay, we got to chew on this for a little bit. And they said, there is no question whatsoever. There's a case here as far as what the LAPD actually did. They said the problem is that for a case like this, you actually have to prove damages. And it was just determined that proving damages would be next to impossible. And so it was the attorneys themselves who said, we don't think we're going to move forward with a case on this. And there were also attorneys I very, very, very much trust. So it wasn't something I was going to fight. And it wasn't something I was going to go try to line up a bunch of other law firms for. However, I do not mind telling you that even though this firm did not want to proceed with an individual lawsuit against the LAPD, there is still very much an effort to show, let's just say there's another type of action moving forward. Let me just leave it at that. This is not this issue is not done and dead and buried. The LAPD has very clearly demonstrated a pattern of conduct of colluding with the Scientology cult to infringe on the First Amendment rights of the protesters through all sorts of illegal and nefarious means. And such activity, I expect, will eventually be the subject of a different kind of litigation. And I mean, that's what I have to say on that right now. Okay, so let me, just since we're doing this, this is not going to be a long video because I'm getting ready for another video on another channel in a little bit. Let me show you how it is that on January 19th, when I saw Patrick Perry, a person I'd never seen, met, spoken to ever, how did I already know who this guy was? How did I already know? This next one I'm going to share with you, this footage is a little unbelievable. The footage I'm about to show you is prior to the incident with me on January 19th and is also directly in front of the Scientology Center, where Patrick Perry is just there fraternizing with Scientology security guards. Let's take a look at this.
Nobody needs to tell me what's good for me, brother. Nobody needs to tell me what's good.
Why are you back? You're back.
Now, I'm just going to say, you'll notice he's already saying, why are you back? And that's because this incident I'm showing you right now is not the first incident where Patrick Perry assaults protesters. So just, you'll see. I'm going to keep going.
You're back.
I don't know you. Don't start shit with me. I don't know you. Jack. Quit filming.
No, I'm not going to quit filming you. Absolutely not. I'm not going to quit filming you. It's a public street.
Do you see him reaching into his pocket right now? He is reaching for a weapon.
I'm not going to quit filming. I'm not going to quit.
He just decided not to reach for the weapon and to signal for the police officer, but he's about to reach for that weapon again.
I'm not going to quit filming.
I told you to quit pointing that fucking camera at me, didn't I? This asshole wants to sit here, keep filming me and harassing me. I'm just walking down the street.
It's a public street. It's a public street.
There he goes for that weapon.
And you sicked your dog on somebody before, so I'm going to keep filming. You get that dog away from me or you're going to prison.
Hey, guys, by the way, I think everyone watching, there's a lot of concern for the dog and the dogs getting involved in all this. An actual service dog or an actual emotional support dog would never, ever attack someone. You see what's going on here? He's using this dog as a weapon and hiding behind, pretending that it's a service dog. Also, he walks around with this cane to make himself look like he's disabled. He's usually walking around without the cane. But when he's planning on interacting with protesters, he brings the cane.
You get that dog away from me or you're going to jail. Get the dog away from me or you're going to jail. Get the dog away from me or you're going to jail.
Okay.
No.
That baton is an illegal weapon, and he's brandishing it in plain view, even after he called over the police. Why is it that this guy is so comfortable committing crimes in front of the police without fear of action?
Oh, if you hit me, that's assault. If you hit me, that's assault. I'm filming it. No, I'm not putting the camera away. If you hit me, that's assault. No, I am not. I'm not. You back up.
And the LAPD refused to take a report on this incident. Even Scientology's security guards got very nervous with what was going on here and tried to intervene to calm Patrick Perry down. Okay, now this next one is going to be a little challenging to share because there is some extremely aggressive, frequent vulgar language that I don't necessarily want. I'll just turn the volume down on this for right now, and then we'll navigate our way through this. So this was December 28th. Okay, when? Okay, yeah, so December 28th, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so what I'm about to show you in this alley occurred 5 days before the incident that I just showed you where he brandished an illegal weapon. I'm going to keep the sound off on this for right now. Patrick Perry was all the way down at the end of an alley. He had already walked that direction. And then he turned around and came back to a group of protesters to give them shit. Now, Streets LA is the one holding the camera right here. And these Streets and Patrick Perry are going back and forth at each other, which is why the language is so salty. But look how threatening and intimidating and menacing Patrick is being for a quote unquote disabled veteran. Look, that dog is yanking at his arm. Like the dog is going nuts. Okay. Now I think I have a timestamp here is at 6:42. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward because at 6:42, that dog bites a protester. That dog bites a protester in. Look at him. Look, Patrick is literally approaching and being the aggressor. And he had to walk all the way over to where these guys were. Just like with me on the sidewalk. He's the one that stopped and turned around and walked towards me. Right? Okay, so at 6:42, that dog bites someone. Here we go. Look, the dog's jumping up on Patrick. And then here we go. Boom. All that protester does is stick a hand out and that dog bites him. This is in no way, shape, or form a service dog. Look at that. Unbelievable. And no, the no report. There's no police report. The LAPD did nothing about this as well. And so that's why, guys, when I saw him on January 19th, I was like, dude, did you hear me say that? I was like, dude, because I'm thinking to myself, there's no fucking way it's a coincidence that 20 minutes after me and Liz and Serge show up to the Hollywood Test Center, not 20 minutes later, a guy that we have already seen assault protesters several times shows up. No way at all. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. And no one's ever going to be able to convince me that Scientology's not slipping him a bunch of money on the side to go and initiate altercations with protesters. And one of the things that's so incredible is now that we've seen who this guy is in real life, just it also tells us who Scientology is willing to get into bed with to initiate altercations with protesters. And actually, I will share this because I didn't actually show this fully before. This is let me show it this way. See if I can zoom in. This is the actual website, just so anyone who wants to follow up on this and keep tabs on what happens here. So this guy was already a felon. So you got the case number there. You got the date. You got the, look at this. Arraignment plea. Okay, yeah, $30,000 bond. Possession of ammunition, felon, possession of firearm, second-degree robbery, assault with a deadly weapon. Oh, interesting. It says assault with a deadly weapon, not a firearm. That's amazing. That means he assaulted someone, maybe with his baton, in the process of trying to rob him. And then when the police showed up, they found a firearm on him. This is the caliber of person that Scientology is using to try and get the protesters wrapped up in stuff. It's really disgusting. Let's see. I think that's all I have on this for now. Let me just check some of my other tabs. Nope, that's it. Let's go through some of the comments and we'll wrap this one up. Okay, yeah, Matt Elliott, MAA, SPTV Canada. What happened with the charges you filed? Yeah, so the LAPD had charged him, and then apparently the charges just disappeared. No explanation. Nobody contacted me. No nothing. I have no further info. Constance June, I will never forget that day watching that live. American Jet said, funny, saw this dude when we played LA a couple months ago. Recognized them immediately from the old video. Wow. Gene P, maybe same reason Chris Rock was assaulted by Will Smith on live TV and no arrest. What does JMO mean? I don't know what JMO means, but thank you for the comment. Tina and the last 20, you have a 6-figure lawsuit with Scientology written all over it. Yeah, I mean, what I told the lawyers was, I said, guys, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll be wherever you want me to be. It's in your hands. Whatever you guys decide and tell me to do, I'm on board. Because that was actually the lawyer's primary concerns. Like, are you truly on board and prepared to be involved in everything this would require if we move forward? I'm like, oh, you better believe it. You want to go to war, Balaki? We can go to war. So I said, yeah, I mean, I'm fully on board. They almost regretted. I could really tell, like, they just regretted, like it felt juicy. When they saw the videos, they were like, we can't even believe this. They're like, this is amazing. This is like open and shut. And yet proving the damages would be difficult. And if I have to recall correctly, guys, like, how could it be difficult to prove damages? You know, damages doesn't just mean, do you have like a welt on your head? And you know, I won't even, like, the fact is, you know, videos make money. And I think even the fact that my video of the incident that day made money would tend to counteract the damages argument. But I don't really want to put too many words into the lawyers' mouths, because I don't remember them distinctly telling me that that was the problem. But in my opinion, that would be a contributing factor to the problem in proving damages. Lydia Von Stretchclaw, that poor dog. Yeah, I mean, he's got to be careful, right? You keep using a dog to assault people, they're going to take that dog away, and who knows? I mean, they might put the dog down. Like it's complete, so irresponsible. Artology Kelly, good to see you. If I were you, Aaron, I would be so pissed. I was pissed. I was disappointed. But I also trust the lawyers, and I didn't feel like they were being improperly influenced. I know they're not afraid to take on Scientology. I know they're not afraid to take on the LAPD. So I was pissed, but I accepted it. Barbie Crab, if they watched your feet and the crack in the sidewalk, you never cross over it after he starts talking to you until you reach for your phone. Exactly. Allison Metcalf Palumbo, Kelly Compter did a great video stringing together all of the footage, including footage of Perry hanging out around the corner. I remember that. She did a great video on that. B Leaf, question, did you get a secondary phone after this attack? No, I am way too cheap to have two phones. It's still just one phone for me. Big Raylan Dad, using a dog is a weapon. Exactly. Colleen K, and he had a bunch of knives on him. Yeah, he did. And the other thing that was weird is, I'll bring the comment back up in a moment. They let Patrick Perry frisk himself. He was standing there, and the LAPD just standing there holding a big bag, and he's just like, all right, here you go, and here you go. Who has ever seen that before? So they let the guy who's a felon and just assaulted someone in broad daylight. He's frisking himself and emptying all his own pockets. I'm literally the victim of a crime, have no criminal record, have never been arrested. I mean, speeding tickets, and as far as criminal, does that count as a criminal record? Speeding tickets? I don't even know. I guess technically. And I'm being cuffed and searched. Like, it was just crazy. He had a bunch of knives on him. The LAPD is definitely in Scientology's pocket. I was shocked that you got arrested. I feel for the dog. Yep. Corey Lane, how does filming someone on a sidewalk constitute stalking? Crooked LAPD. That's right. And it's one of those things where he's like, well, that's what he says, and that's what he says. And I go, this isn't a he said. Like, we've literally shown you the video. And what Timmy Tallman said, he's like, well, I might have seen the video, but the detective who's calling the shots at the station hasn't seen the video yet, and he's the one calling the shots. And I'm like, yeah, but you have. Like, it was such horseshit. It was Detective Aludo. It was Detective Aludo who was calling the shots here, and he apparently has been the point man for Scientology on all of the protester incidents. And Aludo tried to trick me into giving him permission to get into my phone, which he did not get, because thankfully I did not have my phone. But he didn't know that I didn't have my phone. So he came up to me and tried to ask me, oh my God, where can we see? I hear you have some footage and it might help clear all of this up. And he pretended to be interested when he thought that I was going to welcome the opportunity to show them the footage on my phone. But I was like, yeah, just go to youtube.com, pull up the live stream, and it's right there. Once he found out that the answer to his question did not exist on my phone, which was in my possession, and he was not going to get me to give him permission to go through my phone, he no longer gave a shit about finding the evidence. So Aludo's dirty, if you ask me. And also, the guy never even got in touch with me. Like, he never even got in touch with me at all. He actually never even asked me what happened. But when I say got in touch with me, I mean about the Patrick Perry, the Patrick Perry proceedings. Kieran Marr, when keeping it real goes wrong. Who did that sketch? Was that David Chappelle or was that Key and Peele? When keeping it real goes wrong is a very funny sketch comedy bit. Corey Lane, I've messaged the LAPD asking by they're in Scientology's pocket, etc. I also emailed Tiny Tim and told him what I thought of him. Thank you, Corey Lane. Lori Plays, way too much show of force there. I am embarrassed. Yes, indeed. And thank you for your help on this, Lori. I really appreciate it. Matt Elliott, and the victim of the assault was put into handcuffs first. Yeah, and guys, when we got to the station, Patrick Perry was immediately put in one of the comfortable holding cells where they separate your wrists and they just handcuff one of your wrists to a private bench in a private area. I was left handcuffed with my arms behind my back on a steel bench facing a wall for multiple hours until the pain in my shoulder got to the point where I was literally just yelling, not like yelling in pain, but like yelling, like, who the fuck is in charge here? Who is it I'm supposed to be talking to? And I honestly was such a pain in the ass. They just couldn't ignore me anymore. And only then did they uncuff me. And I thought they were going to take me to a holding cell. But no. Tim Tallman intervened and had me chained up in the bathroom, okay, until another officer came by while Tim was in the process of chaining me to this seat in the bathroom. And the officer was so disgusted and embarrassed. He's like, it was almost like he walked in on someone's like, what is going on here? He's like, what are you doing? Get him out of there. What are you thinking? Get him out of there. And then they put me into a holding cell where I could separate my wrists and sit there on the bench. And I was like, it was so obvious how intentional it was for them to leave me there on the bench with my hands behind my back for that long. And that it was just so obvious. They took the felon who had committed the assault and put him in the comfortable room. That's why I'm saying, you guys, no one's going to be able to convince me that Patrick Perry is not working with Scientology and the LAPD. And if I understand Streets LA's text correctly, when Streets says that William was actually arrested by the 77th Division in South Central, my understanding is that's outside the jurisdiction of the Hollywood Division, which is, see, if Patrick Perry's working with the LAPD, it's the Hollywood Division. Patrick Perry, I know he's working with Scientology. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone's able to intervene on Patrick Perry's behalf now that he got himself into some legal trouble outside of the jurisdiction of the Hollywood Division. TJ Tampa, can you sue the city police judge for how this was handled? TJ, everything I said so far about the lawsuit against the LAPD is the answer to this question. You can, but you have to show damages, and just being kept in handcuffs for 3.5 hours in the grand scheme of things is not something the lawyers felt that an LA judge or jury was going to consider constituted damages, you know, like a sprained rotator cuff and some sore wrists and a few hours of your life that you'll never get back. And, you know, what am I going to do? Like, oh, mental anguish, pain and suffering. They're like, you know, it's just one of those things. The LAPD ends up getting away with it. Allison Metcalf Palumbo, why didn't you sue, or are you? And it's pending. See previous answer, Allison. I appreciate the super chat. Force of delightful nature. Aaron, did officers say anything while they transported you? No, while they transported me, dead silence. But I'll tell you, the funniest part of the evening is when I was sitting there on the bench, and all of a sudden, I hear this little alarm go off. And all of a sudden, officers start running down hallways and converging into, I guess, the watch commander's office that was about 15 feet down the hallway from me. And my first thought was, something's going down. I was like, oh my God, I bet there's an army of protesters outside. Huh. Wow. And I'm like, part of it, like you sit there at a bench staring at a wall for a few hours and your imagination starts to run wild. And I'm like, well, that would be too amazing. And then, so officers start, they're starting to get shields. They're starting to get like their batons out and everything. They're like rushing out the side door. And Timmy Tallman is there with the door like cracked half open. And he's kind of looking out. And once all the officers had left the building, he's like, well, Aaron, your friends are here to break you out. And all of a sudden, I was like, it was like we're just teleported out of the situation. And it was just like we were just two friends hanging out, shooting the shit, right? I was like, you're kidding. I was like, you're kidding. I was like, are you serious? Are you kidding? He's like, I'm kind of serious. And then whenever that side door would open up, I would like hear the noise, and I would hear like whatever was happening on the megaphone out there. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what happens when you fuck up and arrest a victim of a crime while tens of thousands of people are watching live. All right, let's see. Louise says, has there been much of LAPD Tim Tallman seen out and around Scientology protesters, or has he gone into hiding? I have not seen him popping up on the live streams, but I'm not watching much of the live streams these days. Pequeña Nineta, I still can't believe they didn't arrest his ass for assaulting you, etc. He should have been arrested ASAP. He was arrested. He was charged, and they just dropped the charges for some reason. Yeah. Mrs. Bramlett Jr., SPTV fans, has a clip of him verbally abusing his dog on the Santa Monica Pier. His dog is clearly not a trained service dog. Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, that is all I have on this for now. Stay tuned, guys. So much more to come, not only later today, but also the rest of this weekend and all of next week. Guys, I'm trying to hit 250,000 subs by the end of the year. So if you're watching now and you're not yet subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. All right, everyone, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.